For me, like right now, one thing that like I'm lacking is exposure to like the sales process. Like if I could almost like just sit back at an external point of view and just watch a bunch of people do their sales process, I'm like, oh man, I got it. Because I think that a lot of it
Right.
I intuitively understand, but there's also a lot of it that I'm like, is that okay? Am I messaging them too much? Is it, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to piss them off by messaging them too much. I don't want to, you know, not be salesy enough and lose the project because they're like, well, you didn't ever follow up, or you know what
Right.
I mean, or
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
I would say this, and this is my thought process. And by the way, thank you for the advice. We appreciate it.
yeah, no problem.
We have obviously a number of what we've done is our feedback from our audience in regards to like our guests is that when we bring a guest on, they want to hear more from the guest than us.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why. And what we've tried to do now is kind of basically have like these shows where me and Rob will just basically what do you call it? We'll like do our own like an hour or whatever you want to call it of just us talking about like a sales process or
Yeah.
and that's something probably we're gonna do next week. We're not gonna have a
Yeah.
guest on next week, Rob. Me and you are just gonna do another one of those sales shows.
Yeah.
But to address what you just said, the biggest failure that sales reps have from the get-go is setting expectations. So if you say, hey, I don't know how much I should follow up or how not enough or whatever the case might be, if you go to a customer for the first time and say, here's what you can expect from me, I'm going to follow up until you tell me to drop dead. That's how I am. It's how I've always been. But
Yeah.
you're never not going to not hear from me.
Yeah.
Okay. Second is that if you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. Right. If you say, hey, I need this, I'm going to go do that. So the expectation for me is that if I say, hey, I need X, Y, or Z from you, because let's be honest, we put things back in our customers' hands. We're now on their time.
Right.
We're on their, you know what I mean? And now that time could be an immediate thing or it could be 6 months from now.
Right.
So setting expectations from the get-go with your customer is going to be the biggest thing that you can do from the get-go. Because if they say, hey, you know what? Like I used to send an email. I'm not kidding, Malachi. The email would say, hi, my name's Jonathan Turner. I'm your sales guy. I'm going to be the guy moving forward. Here's what you can expect from me. One is I'm going to be the guy that's going to be so annoying to you because I follow up like crazy. And if you don't like that, that's fine. Let me know now. Right? Tell me what time is the best time to get a hold of you. Do you want me to call you on your cell phone? Do you want me to email you? What is the best form? Do you want me to send you a text message, a pigeon? Well, how do you want me to communicate with you? Right? Because they're going to tell you, oh, don't ever call me or email me here, but call me or text me here. Right? That's what they'll tell you. And just tell them kind of different ways that you'll try and get in contact with them. So that way they know they can expect it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you do all those things, then the thoughts that you're talking about right now in your head in regards to follow-up, they'll go away because you've already set the tone.
Right. Okay, that makes
And
sense.
if they're going to say, don't be that guy that called me 7 times a day.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I would encourage you to say.
Okay. What do you think in the sense of like if like say for instance, one of my particular instances, I have a couple projects out for bid right now. And one of them, I'm reaching out to them, and I basically haven't heard anything back since I've gotten the bid. I think I sent the bid, and then I sent one follow up saying, "Hey, what's going on?" Type of thing.
Yeah.
And then one of the other ones, I just went ahead and called them, and then we had a conversation. They were concerned about cycle time and the equipment being able to meet cycle time. So we discussed a little bit, and then I sent them like an email that basically took me like an hour to draft, talking about a lot of the technical sides of this is why it will be able to beat the cycle time. It's going to take X amount of cycle time to do this thing. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So I get the question is like how would you continue on with that follow up process?
Yeah. So for me, especially when it came to quoting, so you've gotten to this part where you've done basically everything the customers asked you to do, and now you're getting to the point now where you're presenting to them the final solution. So what I would do is, as part of leading up to that final solution, I'm calling, I'm emailing, I'm saying, hey, I'm about to send you over the quote, the RFQ, or the bid.
Yeah.
When is going to be a good time for you to review this with me? Right? Yeah. When can you review this? Because I want to go line by line with you. I want to make sure that you understand. I want to address any questions you have right there and then while it's fresh in your brain. Because what ends up happening is you send this email They're busy as shit. And then they go look at this bid while they're at home at night at 10 o'clock at night, drinking a beer or watching Roseanne or the hell's on TV. And now you don't have the opportunity to get into their brain and what they're thinking in that moment.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you, as part of your bidding process, is first off, explain that. I would walk them through what you do. Like, hey, Mr. Customer, XYZ, here's what you can expect from me. Here's how I'm going to communicate. Here, I'm going to gather as much information from you. I'm going to walk and consult you, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of this, I'm going to present you a solution. And then I'm going to call you with the solution. We're going to go through it line by line, make sure you're good. And then I'm going to let you take your time to make a decision that works out well for you. And you're going to communicate that to me. Okay. Right? Because that's the world that we're in, you know? And if you do that, then I think a lot of the questions you're having now, those will dissipate. They'll go away because, you've basically addressed them. And the customer who doesn't want to work with you, like the guy, for example, who's not reaching back out to you, there can be a number of reasons behind that. Yeah. Lack of urgency. There's not a need right now. Is a very passive process. Yeah. Right. And you can find out how passive. Like I would ask questions very early on. Like, where are you at right now with this? When is this thing that you want to have this implemented? Is it 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Where do you 2 years from now? Yeah. Oh, I want this done in like the next between now and the fourth quarter. Like, well, then why the hell are you getting the guy a quote? Yeah. What I mean? Like that. I mean, why? Because so many things can change between now and then.
Yeah. Customers are very passive aggressive too. So
they are.
Always err on the side of bothering them too much. Because if they're flat out ignoring you, you've already got your answer, right?
And I've never had a customer who's I've sold who said, "Man, you bothered so." They were actually very appreciative of my follow up. Yeah, when the ones that who are really just busy, they're. I have a guy I call 3 times a month. His name is Dan. I've been calling that guy for 2 years. I haven't sold him anything yet, but he loves that I call him and keep bothering him. He's like, "I'm going to buy something from you. It's just a matter of time." And time could be 20 years from now, but at least I'm putting the effort in. Yeah. Right. So for you, I would just say and your team, it's about setting expectations. It's about making sure that you tell your team, like, hey, when you talk to them for the first time and you have them on that phone, this is what you can expect from me. Yeah. And this is and you can say what sets me apart. I don't know what sets people apart anymore from anybody else, to be honest with you.
That's a hard one.
I think we're all the same. Yeah. But I think the thing that you would say is like, hey, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And people respect that. Schedule appointments. I mean, I would get past this like impromptu shit, and have your team focus on setting a time aside, 15 minutes to talk with somebody. Yeah. And that stuff. And then again, I would, if I'm you, I'm out of that conversation, letting your sales team do their thing or your people. And then you come in and you're the owner. That owner is huge to customers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So you coming in at the get-go, that comes off kind of to me, it comes off a little, needy or maybe desperate. Yeah. You're not that. Yeah. But you come in at the end, hey, let my sales team do what they do, build the lead up. And then I come and say, hey, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Malachi. I'm the owner of the business. I'm really excited to work with you. Love to introduce myself. If you have any questions, any problems, any questions you have, I am here to help you. I'm here. Yeah. My team does their job, but I'm a great support system. The buck stops with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's how I would encourage you. And I would automate a lot of your shit. I would.
How many technicians do you have?
So I'm the primary engineer, and then I have basically a couple other interns and a mechanical engineer.
Okay. So when you guys put a system together, and the customer comes in, they sign off on the system, you do your own offer, whatever, you tear it down and take it to their facility and put it back together.
Correct.
Who's the last person involved in that process? Is that you right now, it sounds like?
Yeah, I would be on site. I would definitely be on site for the last part of that process, yeah.
Okay. So eventually you'd like to have a project manager type role where they would go in, sign off on that. But it doesn't matter what the process looks like. The lead automation, if the lead automation tag is on that machine, it's your name, right? And that's you have to balance the, hey, I'm gung-ho and I want to go find this stuff and I want everybody to know who I am, is Malachi, with the perception that you're in the office managing your business and taking control of your business, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think maybe I'd be interested to come down there at some point and meet you guys
Sure.
and actually sit in on maybe like a sales meeting or something, or a company meeting, and just kind of, see how things operate around there, and then provide you guys some feedback if you'd be interested in doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, as of right now, it's like everything's very remote and as needed. So, like,
Right.
we actually don't have warehousing space until we go to lease it. So I have a couple, I think three different partners where I can come in and utilize their facilities for, X amount of
Oh,
time.
okay. Sure.
One of them has way more space than I'll ever need. Another one's more optimal. They'd actually do machining work, and that one's the most optimal because it's a machine shop. They can machine our parts right there, give us our parts right in the house. But that one, they've been growing so quickly themselves that they're struggling to keep enough space.
It's tough. Yeah. Well, that's where it's been a lot. I mean, even with MW where I'm at, kind of full time, is they brought me on to help them fill up the machine shop worth of work.
Right.
But since I've been on, I've actually found more of these like conveyor projects and like leak testers and this other random stuff that fits the engineering side of the business more than it does the machine shop.
Right.
Meanwhile, the shop manager that runs the machine shop just landed a bunch of fixturing work from one of his buddies. So now he's almost full of work, and I'm sitting here going, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah. What are you going to sell? Yeah.
You're busy. You're busy building shit. He's busy machining shit, and my job is to go sell shit. Where do I make my money in this whole process?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been struggling with being tied in with one company. Is like you said last week when we were talking. If I bring you $2 million worth of projects, and you're up to your eyeballs in work and you can't take any more on, I still need somewhere to take those projects when they come in.
Yeah. Right.
And that's where the independent side for me really makes the most sense. Is there's nothing hindering my ability other than finding the work and finding somewhere to send it,
Right. Absolutely.
So that's tough when you have an area where you think you can go and then all of a sudden it's not there. Because I've been waiting 3 weeks on this leak tester quote to send back to a customer that was one of our top targets when we sat down and signed the contract. And I'm like, well, if we're not going to get the quotes back to the customer, we're not going to win the business.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
The biggest thing that we'll leave you with here that I think that is important is self-doubt will kill you when it comes to sales.
Yes.
So if anything, and I would encourage you to do, anyone to do this, is I said, like I told someone earlier today, write out what your elevator pitch is, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to be, and then have that in different variations. They actually tell you that we were talking with someone from Polyfuse, Jason Brownell here on the Turnpike Show on Monday, and he has 3 different PowerPoint presentations that he uses. One is like 30 minutes long, one is 10, and one is 3. And basically based off how he reads his customers and the presentation, he'll go to the 3-minute one, the 10-minute one, or the 60-minute one, or whatever the different number ones are.
Right.
So have 3 different presentations. One that for that analytical guy that you could give them 50 hours of content and they love it. Or the one guy that says, just get to the point. Get to the point, man. Like the ones
what do you do?
Get to the bottom line. What's the bottom line? What do you want me to do? Like that guy. I hate that guy. Like fuck you guy. That guy's actually me though. I'm that guy in real life because I don't have time for that bullshit. But that's me, and I hate that guy, so I hate myself. But we know what we're talking about because most of the customers we deal with, they're kind of in between. They're not the extreme where they like, give me the 60-minute thing, or they're not the 3-minute guy.
Yeah.
They're the 10-minute guy. The 10-minute guy who says, "Yeah, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say," and I would tailor my stuff, to that. Again, set the right expectations from the get-go, and then hold your customers accountable to what they're going to say, what they say. If you aren't willing to set expectations and then hold your customers accountable to what they say they're going to do, then you can't be in sales. Right. In today's world, you have to. Hey, Mr. Customer,
run you over
if I do X, Y, and Z, if I do those things you said, you told me you were going to buy from me, motherfucker. Right?
Yeah.
Why aren't you buying from me?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I added in the 5th thing. Well, that's not what you said.
Right.
You said I did these 3 things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And now you're holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you always want to use. Hey, the best question you can ask a customer, and I still believe this moment, is if they're giving you this bullshit answer about like, I don't know what I want to do, on a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think of this proposal? Proposal 10 means it's, you're going to buy it. You're going to give me maximum dollar. 1 is you hate this thing. Don't ever talk to me ever again. Like, where are you at in this? And when they tell you a number, 5, 6, you then say, well, the next question is what will get it to a 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What will get it to that point? What gets it over the goal line?
Yeah.
If you ask those kinds of questions, it makes them have to think about it. And then it gives you a chance to respond. And they might say, well, you don't have to fly this thing to Mars, dip it in chocolate, and bring it back before I do this. And then you can't get there.
Right.
But that's what I would tell you to do. That's the difference between the ones that make it and the ones that don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and have word plays. I would constantly be role playing with your.
He needs to pick up them cards from Jordan Stupar.
He does, man. He does.
What is it?
We'll send you the link to those.
They're objection handling cards. They're really cool. But you should be role playing with your sales staff as much as possible. And if you're not doing that, then that's a disservice to them because they need to be actively working on getting objections every day. Throwing things at them like what. What do you mean? What is this? What's that? Technical training. What technical training would be?
I mean, sometimes the customer is trying to get rid of you, and other times they're just throwing out something just to see how determined you are. And it's like, does this guy really want to come in here or call me once a week or call me once a month like he says he does? I'm going to blow him off for the first 3 or 4 times he calls me to see if he's even worth my time.
Yeah.
And it took me 8 years to land my favorite customer, and he still talks about it. He's like, you spent 8 years coming in here and explaining to me why I needed your machine, and then I bought it, and you were absolutely right, and I'll never buy anything else.
My best customers haven't bought anything from me.
Well, what's your problem?
That's my best customers. They've not bought one thing from me.
Oh, it's true.
They love me though. They think I'm the greatest thing ever. I don't know why that is. It's weird. It's like that's why girls used to date. They love not dating me. But Malachi, man, thank you very much, man, for being a part of this today. We really do appreciate it. We'll continue to market it here the rest of the week. And if you need any help from us, by all means, if you need me to help you with some sales training, from afar, I can help you with that. We're here to help any way we can.